US F-15s join NATO mission in Estonia in a clear message to Russia. 6 American F-15s and the U.S. Air Force personnel to fly them have arrived at an airbase in Estonia. The deployment is just part of the Biden administration's efforts to bolster NATO defenses on the far eastern edge of Europe amid soaring tension with Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin gave no indication on Tuesday that he was about to bow to pressure from the U.S. and its allies to start pulling back the 100,000-plus forces he has positioned around Ukraine's borders. Instead, he reiterated his accusation that NATO and the U.S. are causing the tension by placing missiles and troops in countries close to Russia's western borders and ignoring his demands for security guarantees from the alliance. Putin accused the U.S. of using Ukraine as a pawn in a bid to contain Russia, portraying his own country as the victim even though the current crisis grew out of his still unexplained decision to deploy tens of thousands of troops around Ukraine's borders. The Kremlin has insisted for months that it's merely for exercises, and that Russia can do what it wants with its own forces on its own soil. But it was only 8 years ago that Putin's forces last pushed into Ukraine to fight alongside separatists who are still locked in battle with Ukrainian troops in the country's east, and to facilitate his annexation of the Crimean Peninsula away from his neighbor. Few countries recognize Putin's 2014 land grab, but he made it clear again on Tuesday that, as far as his government is concerned, Crimea is now Russian territory. New images released this week by the Maxar satellite company show Putin's military buildup continuing in Crimea, which most nations still consider an occupied part of southern Ukraine, and to Ukraine's north in Belarus, and to its east, on Russian soil. During the past couple of weeks, several new significant military deployments have been observed in Belarus, Maxar said in an analysis accompanying its latest images. I said the pictures show new housing for forces at virtually every deployment location in Belarus, Crimea and western Russia, indicating an increased level of activity and readiness. President Biden has said there's a distinct possibility that Russia will invade Ukraine again this month, and the White House and its allies have said if that happens, it will be considered not only an aggression against an ally, but an assault on the basic tenets of European security that have kept relative peace on the continent since the end of World War II. The US F-15s, now in Estonia, a NATO ally that shares a land border with Russia, joined Belgian F-16s as part of a multinational force conducting air patrols along the alliance's eastern flank this week. The Russian military has already deployed fighter jets to the region, launched naval exercises in the Baltic and rolled missile systems and troops into Belarus. Moscow says it's just for exercises, but U.S. officials believe Putin could use the presence in Ukraine's northern neighbor, or in Crimea, as potential routes for an invasion.